Have you ever wondered what sparked the Iran-Israel conflict that has been shaping the Middle East for decades? It's a complex tale with its roots reaching back to the mid-20th century, a period marked by significant geopolitical shifts. Let's begin with the year 1948, a pivotal moment in history. This was the year that saw the establishment of the State of Israel, a development that significantly altered the political landscape of the Middle East. In the initial years following its establishment, Israel was recognized by a number of nations worldwide, including Iran, under the rule of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. At this point, Iran and Israel shared a cordial relationship, one characterized by diplomatic recognition and even cooperation. However, as we move forward in history, we come to the year 1979. This year marked a significant turning point, not just in the history of Iran, but in its relations with Israel as well. The Iranian Revolution, led by the religious leader Ayatollah Khomeini, resulted in the overthrow of the Shah and the establishment of an Islamic Republic. Following this dramatic shift in power, Iran's stance towards Israel underwent a drastic change. The new regime in Iran no longer recognized Israel as a state, marking a stark departure from the policies of the Shah's era. This shift was not merely diplomatic. It was also ideological, as the new Iranian regime positioned itself in opposition to Israel, viewing it as an illegitimate entity. This marked the beginning of a sustained period of tension and conflict between the two countries, setting the stage for the adversarial relationship we witness today. While the Iranian Revolution of 1979 was not the only factor contributing to the Iran-Israel conflict, it was a significant catalyst that accelerated the tensions. As we delve deeper into the intricacies of this conflict, it becomes evident that the roots are complex and multifaceted, shaped by political, ideological, and regional dynamics. Thus, we see how the seeds of this conflict were sown in the tumultuous period of the late 20th century. As we continue this exploration, we'll delve into how these seeds blossomed into the ongoing struggle that continues to shape the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. But how did this initial animosity escalate into full-fledged conflict? The embers of the conflict were stoked following the Iranian Revolution in 1979. This political earthquake saw the establishment of an Islamic Republic, and from its inception, the new regime was vocally opposed to Israel's existence. The rhetoric was fiery, but it wasn't just words. Iran began to back its statements with actions, supporting a number of militant groups in the region that targeted Israel. One of the most significant of these groups was Hezbollah, a political and military organization based in Lebanon. Iran's support for Hezbollah, both financially and militarily, was pivotal in enabling the group to carry out attacks against Israel. This backing of anti-Israel factions was a clear message that Iran was not just opposed to Israel on ideological grounds, but was willing to actively support those who sought its destruction. In response to these provocations and perceived threats, Israel allegedly embarked on a campaign of targeted assassinations of Iranian nuclear scientists, further fueling the flames of hostility. These covert operations, reportedly carried out by the Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, were seen by Iran as direct attacks on its sovereignty and its people. The most contentious issue, however, has been the nuclear dispute. Iran's pursuit of nuclear technology has been a source of concern for Israel and the international community. Israel, fearing a nuclear-armed Iran, has been at the forefront of efforts to prevent this from happening. This has led to a series of proxy wars and cyber attacks, with both sides attempting to destabilize the other. These actions and reactions have created a vicious cycle of hostility, with each side perceiving the other's actions as aggressive and responding in kind. The result has been an escalation of tensions that has brought the region to the brink of war. This escalation of tensions has led to a series of proxy wars, cyber attacks, and a nuclear standoff. The stakes are high and the world watches, hoping for a resolution that can bring an end to this dangerous game of brinkmanship. Now, as we move into the present day, where does this conflict stand? In the here and now, the Iran-Israel conflict remains a complex, volatile issue. Recent years have seen a marked increase in hostilities, with both sides engaging in covert operations, cyber attacks, and direct military confrontations. From the assassination of Iran's top nuclear scientist to Israel's claims of Iranian drone attacks, the tit-for-tat nature of this conflict has only intensified. But it's not just a two-player game. The United States, with its long-standing alliance with Israel, plays a significant role in this geopolitical chessboard. The Trump administration's withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal in 2018 followed by a maximum pressure campaign against Iran, exacerbated the situation. However, the Biden administration's attempts to re-engage with Iran and resurrect the deal, albeit with significant challenges, indicates a shift in the U.S. stance. Moreover, other world powers are also involved. Russia, with its strategic alliance with Iran, and China, with its economic interests in the region, are key players. The European Union, too, has been striving to keep the nuclear deal alive, highlighting the international dimension of this conflict. Let's not forget the wider regional context. The Iran-Israel conflict is a significant factor contributing to the instability in the Middle East. It influences the dynamics of various other conflicts in the region, from Syria and Lebanon to Yemen. It's a tinderbox situation where one spark could potentially ignite a larger conflagration. So, what are the implications? Well, the continued conflict threatens not only regional stability, but also global peace. It has the potential to disrupt global oil supplies, given the strategic location of both Iran and Israel. Moreover, the possibility of a full-blown military confrontation between Iran and Israel, which could draw in other powers, is a concerning scenario. Thus, the Iran-Israel conflict continues to be a major flashpoint in the Middle East, with far-reaching implications. So what could the future hold for the Iran-Israel conflict? As we delve into the potential scenarios, we find ourselves facing a myriad of possibilities. Let's walk through some of the most plausible ones. First, we have the potential for a diplomatic resolution. This is a scenario wherein both nations, perhaps with the help of international mediators, manage to find common ground and agree on a path towards peace. It's a scenario that requires an immense amount of negotiation, compromise, and trust building. However, it's not entirely out of reach. History has shown us that even the most entrenched adversaries can find ways to bridge their differences when the alternative is too costly. Then there's the possibility of a continued stalemate. This scenario would see both Iran and Israel maintaining their current positions, neither escalating nor backing down. The status quo would persist, and the conflict would continue to smolder, never quite erupting into full-blown war, but never quite extinguishing either. It's a tense equilibrium that could hold for many years, but it's also a fragile one, vulnerable to any sudden shifts in the geopolitical landscape. The third scenario is less optimistic, a further escalation of tensions leading to outright war. This could occur if one or both parties decide that diplomacy has failed or that their strategic objectives can't be achieved through peaceful means. In this scenario, the world could witness a conflict of unprecedented scale and devastation in the region, with potential ripple effects on global peace and security. International diplomacy will undoubtedly play a crucial role in determining which of these scenarios comes to pass. The involvement of global powers, the United Nations, and various regional bodies could either help diffuse tensions or, conversely, fan the flames of conflict. Only time will reveal the ultimate outcome of this conflict, but one thing is certain: the stakes are incredibly high. As we watch the road ahead, let's hope that the path chosen leads to peace and stability, not just for Iran and Israel, but for the world at large. In these 10 minutes, we have traced the complex trajectory of the Iran-Israel conflict. From its genesis, it is clear that the roots of this discord are deeply entrenched in the annals of history. The seeds of contention were sown in the ideological differences and political maneuvers of the two nations, gradually escalating into a full-blown standoff that continues to this day. The escalation of tensions was not an overnight phenomenon. It was a simmering pot of mutual distrust and conflicting interests that eventually boiled over. The covert operations, the public condemnations, and the relentless pursuit of strategic advantage, all these elements coalesced into a volatile mixture that has kept the Middle East on its toes. As we navigated through the present scenario, we saw how the conflict has evolved into a multi-dimensional chess game. Both Iran and Israel have upped the ante, employing a complex web of tactics and strategies, from cyber warfare to proxy battles. The stakes have never been higher, and the world watches with bated breath as each move unfolds. Looking at the road ahead, it is evident that this conflict is far from over. The potential future developments are shrouded in uncertainty. Will there be a diplomatic breakthrough, or will the tensions continue to escalate? These are questions only time can answer, but one thing is certain: the resolution of this conflict is crucial for the stability of the region and, indeed, the world. Understanding this conflict requires acknowledging the deep-seated historical, political, and ideological factors at play. It is a testament to the enduring complexities of international relations. As we continue to observe and analyze, let us remember that behind these political chess games are real people whose lives are deeply affected by these decisions. And ultimately, it is the pursuit of peace that should guide our collective actions and thoughts.